Shockwaves are rippling across the region right now after breaking reports revealed that a high-value Iranian facility has just been struck in a sudden and highly coordinated operation. Moments ago, early intelligence began circulating across multiple channels, suggesting that the strike came without warning, catching defense systems in a narrow window of vulnerability. Within minutes, emergency protocols were activated, and global monitoring agencies shifted their full attention to what could be the beginning of a dangerous new escalation. Initial claims are already pouring in, but they don't align. Some sources are describing the operation as a precise and calculated success, a surgical strike targeting a facility believed to be deeply embedded within Iran's strategic infrastructure. Others are warning that the full picture is far more complex, suggesting that what was hit may only be part of a larger network, one that has not yet revealed its true importance. According to early reports, the strike is being attributed to Israel, although no official confirmation has been issued. Still, the patterns are familiar. The speed, the precision, the timing, it all points toward a highly advanced military operation executed with detailed intelligence. Analysts are already noting that this was not a random target. This was deliberate, planned, and possibly months in the making. But what exactly was hit? That question is now at the center of a rapidly unfolding global mystery. Some intelligence leaks suggest the facility may have been linked to advanced weapons development. Others claim it played a role in missile coordination or drone operations. A few reports even hint at something deeper, something tied to long-term strategic capabilities that could shift the balance of power in the region. And that's where the tension begins to rise. Because if those claims are even partially true, then this was not just another strike. This was a message. Within minutes of the reports breaking, reactions began pouring in from across the globe. Regional defense systems were placed on high alert. Airspace monitoring intensified. Naval movements in nearby waters began shifting subtly, almost quietly, as if preparing for something that had not yet happened but might. Diplomatic channels lit up. Emergency meetings were called. And yet, publicly, most officials remained cautious. Carefully worded statements, vague acknowledgments, no clear confirmations. It was as if everyone understood the gravity of the moment, but no one wanted to be the first to say it out loud. Because saying it would mean admitting what could come next. Behind the scenes, however, the tone was very different. Analysts began mapping potential responses. Military strategists started calculating timelines. And one question kept surfacing again and again. How would Iran respond? To understand that, you have to understand the facility itself. While details remain limited, multiple sources suggest that it wasn't just another installation. It was reportedly part of a larger strategic framework, one that may have played a role in coordinating or supporting key military capabilities. Some experts believe it was linked to missile infrastructure. Others suggest it may have been involved in advanced technological development, possibly even experimental systems. If true, the implications are significant. Because targeting such a facility would not only disrupt operations, it would challenge capability. And that changes everything. But here's where the narrative splits. On one side, there are claims that the strike was a major success, that the facility was heavily damaged, its operations severely disrupted, that the precision of the attack indicates deep intelligence penetration and technological superiority. On the other side, a very different story is emerging. Iranian-linked sources are pushing back, suggesting that the damage has been exaggerated, that defensive systems were activated, that the impact was limited, controlled, contained. Two completely different realities, both unfolding at the same time. And then, just as analysts began trying to make sense of it all, everything escalated. Because approximately 2 hours later, new reports started to surface. At first, they were fragmented, scattered alerts, unconfirmed signals, but within minutes, the pattern became clear. Missiles. Multiple projectiles detected, launch signatures identified, trajectories being tracked in real time. And suddenly, the focus shifted. From Iran to Israel. According to early detection systems, a barrage of missiles had been launched, reportedly from Iranian territory or aligned positions. The targets were unclear at first. The scale was uncertain. But one thing was immediately obvious. This was retaliation. Air defense systems were activated almost instantly. Sirens began sounding across multiple regions. Civilians were rushed into shelters as interception systems engaged incoming threats. But here's where the confusion deepens. Some reports claim that the majority of the missiles were intercepted successfully, neutralized before impact. Others suggest that several managed to get through, striking key locations and causing damage that is still being assessed. Footage began circulating, flashes in the sky, streaks of light, distant explosions. But verifying what actually happened, that's proving far more difficult. Because once again, the narratives are colliding. One side is framing the response as strong, decisive, and impactful, a demonstration of capability and resolve. The other insists that defensive systems held firm, minimizing damage and preventing escalation from spiraling out of control. But the truth? It's somewhere in the fog of war. Before we go deeper, make sure to like and subscribe, because what's happening right now is evolving fast, and the next updates could change everything. As analysts dig deeper into the timeline, new questions are beginning to emerge. Was the retaliation planned in advance? Or was it a rapid response triggered within those 2 critical hours? The speed of the escalation suggests something important. Preparation. Because launching a coordinated missile response is not something that happens instantly. It requires positioning, readiness, command structures already in place, which raises a critical possibility. This may not have been a reaction. It may have been anticipated. And if that's true, then both sides may have been preparing for this moment long before the first strike ever happened. Which brings us to a much larger question. What is really happening here? Some experts believe this is part of a broader strategic game one where both sides are testing limits, sending signals, measuring responses. Not necessarily aiming for full-scale conflict, but not ruling it out either. Others warn that the situation is far more dangerous, that each move increases the risk of miscalculation, that one wrong step, one unexpected outcome, could push the region into a level of escalation that becomes impossible to contain. And then there's a third perspective, that what we're seeing is only the surface, that behind these visible strikes and counterstrikes, there are deeper operations, unfolding cyber activities, intelligence maneuvers, covert actions that are shaping the battlefield in ways the public may never fully see. If that's the case, then the real conflict isn't just what's happening in the sky. It's what's happening in the shadows. Meanwhile, global powers are watching closely. Some are urging restraint, others are reinforcing positions. Military assets in nearby regions are being monitored, adjusted, repositioned, because the risk is no longer localized. If this escalates further, it could draw in additional actors. Alliances could be tested, boundaries could be crossed, and suddenly, what began as a single strike could become something much larger. Back on the ground, the situation remains fluid. Reports continue to shift. Damage assessments are incomplete. Official confirmations are limited. But the tension? It's rising. Because everyone is now waiting for the next move. Will there be another strike? Another response? Or will both sides pause, recalibrate, and step back from the edge? At this moment, no one knows. And that uncertainty is what makes this so dangerous. Because in situations like this, silence doesn't always mean de-escalation. Sometimes it means preparation. The coming hours are critical. Intelligence agencies are tracking movements. Defense systems remain on high alert. Communication channels are active but cautious. And somewhere behind closed doors, decisions are being made. Decisions that could shape what happens next. For now, the situation remains unresolved. conflicting narratives continue to emerge. New information is expected but not guaranteed. And as the world watches, one thing is becoming increasingly clear. This is far from over. The situation is still developing. The next few hours could be critical. And the world is watching.